Hello, everyone, and welcome to another inspiring episode of the Motherhood and Me podcast. So many women, get exhausted by trying to do everything at the same time. And reading your profile, it's just obvious that you wear so many hats. Okay, how are you able to manage each aspect of your life?
Okay, the one word really is community
Ah,
because a lot of people are exhausted because they're trying to do it alone. And they've not
okay.
had the opportunity to build
Become
relationships, support systems. I got married. My husband had to be in another city. So I was on my own in the city where I was. And we had the house that we're living in. But I was like, no, I'm not going to stay here pregnant. And I had a friend who has a family. So she had her children. She had married ahead of me. So I asked her if I could stay with her.
wow.
Yeah, and I stayed with the family because I didn't want to stay on my own. I stayed with her until my husband, was transferred. And so sometimes we compartmentalize our lives too much, and then we don't deal with each compartment properly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another inspiring episode of the Motherhood and Me podcast. Motherhood and Me podcast is a space where we have honest, healing, and empowering conversations about motherhood, about womanhood, about family, about purpose, about leadership, and everything in between. I'm your host, and my name is Deborah Gadua, and today's episode is one I am personally very excited about because we are joined by a phenomenal woman whose work, continues to inspire and impact lives. Her work shapes communities and inspire intentional growth. Our guest today is Ruth Ede. She's a community development catalyst. She's a leadership strategist, a mentor, an organizational consultant, and an advocate for emotionally intelligent leading. She's the principal consultant at Ruby Crest Consulting, and she spent years helping organizations and individuals build systems, communities, and relationships that thrive without losing their humanity. That's so robust. I have to go on because it's still heavy. From empowering women and mentoring young professionals to leading transformational conversation around leadership, relationships, emotional wellness, and purposeful living. Ruth brings such depth, wisdom, and audacity and authenticity on her to every stage she enters. Today, we'll be talking about balancing ambitions and womanhood, and also emotional wellness, motherhood, relationships, leadership, and how women can grow without losing themselves in the process. This conversation is honest, relatable, and deeply insightful. So, whether you're a mother, a wife, a career woman, an entrepreneur, or simply navigating life, one day at a time, I truly believe there's something in this episode for you. Please help me and warmly welcome Ede and Ruth Ede, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. I know it's going to be an amazing time, and a lot of us are going to learn a lot. So we're going to dive right into what we have today. So, Ruth, you wear so many hats. You're a strategist, you're a mentor, you're a community builder, you're a leadership coach. How are you doing it? Who is Ruth? Tell us more.
Okay, I think we said all based on titles and the rest, but beyond the title, I found my identity in one thing I refer to as a truth telling change engineer.
Wow.
And why I say that is since I was born throughout my life, I've always been intrigued by how things work.
Okay.
And I'm always wanting to know, okay, get to the background of it, fix things, and do all that. And so beyond going to school and everything, I've always been interested in fixing things, interested in understanding how things work, and also helping others understand how things work. So that kind of title is what I identify as. So I tell the truth, I bring in the principles, to help people understand how things work and then to work with them to fix it.
Wow.
So I read engineering actually. So because of that, my interest in fixing things and how the things work, the first place I wanted to go to was even medicine, really, because I was also intrigued about the human body. How does this human body work and all that? But when I learned that you have to see a lot of blood, cut cadavers and all that,
So you ran away.
I ran away because I was already in the sciences. And so the next best thing was engineering, that I resonated with, and what I related to was engineering. And so I read engineering, but while reading in school, I understood that I was still drawn to people. I was still drawn to organization. Not that I was like a people person like that, but I knew that my calling had to do with people. So I was trying to relate the engineering I'm reading with people, and it was just I'm not getting any alignment.
Okay.
So I just managed to complete my degree in engineering. But I went into, because one of the things I was interested in at the time was also helping people understand engineering concepts.
Okay.
Because I always wanted to teach, tell people how things work. And so I wanted to do engineering writing. And so I decided when I graduate, I'll do something in communication and then help people understand engineering concepts. And that's how I reared up from engineering to communication, and then finally to human resources, which kind of like tied everything that I made together. So it's a long story how my journey went. It didn't really look like it made sense then, but somehow everything tied into organizational development, which I consult in now, but particularly directed towards community building because I understand the need for communities to thrive and how people really thrive better in community. And so I bring that concept into my consulting, into organizations that I've worked, how to build relationships, how to help people collaborate, work together, basically build community.
And I can say that no accident is lost.
No, not at all.
You gain all the problem you gain growing up and all that, you're able to use it in every arm and every that you found yourself.
It was amazing. I can tell you a story about some of my background. When I went into human resources after like a long career in communications, I started as a generalist in human resources. But along the line, I got an offer for a role in a multinational company, and the role was a new role in HR. And just to think of the fact that they were looking for someone who was a human resource person but had a communication background.
Wow.
So it was like the role was employee engagement and employer branding. So it was a new role, and that role just fits my background. And then the fact that I read engineering, because the company I was coming into was a manufacturing company.
Imagine.
And so it was just like everything
aligned.
now aligned to that role. And I began to see actually that this thing that looked like confusion was not confusion, that was coming together in something. And so my career just came to a head kind of in organizational development. And that was the units, the department that was housing that function that I came into.
Because of yours all being your steps.
Absolutely. And every time he would lead me that direction, I would wonder, it doesn't make sense. But because the drive was stronger than whatever reasonability, people were trying to reason with me, I just took the step. And many times I start doing something and I find out that, okay, I need the qualifications. So because of when I graduated from school, I started working with the communications team at an organization. I found out that I don't know I don't have the qualifications. I've not done a communication, so I did a degree in communication.
Wow.
Yeah, to strengthen my, ability to just complete the whole degree. Yeah, he did it.
You have, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
postgraduate degree, not full degree. No, it's a graduate degree in communications. And then I was able to enhance what I was doing there. And then just before I quit into HR, I started to train. I did the professional courses in HR. And just as soon as I was just about to end it, I got my role. Because before I got the role, I was doing a business. I had to take some time out
from work. So I was doing the business that had to do with, recruitment and the rest. So I was not doing it, winging it, anyhow. And then someone said, you might need to do this course to learn to know how to do it better. And then I did the professional course. And as I was doing it, I felt I needed to strengthen it. So I started looking for a role.
Wow.
Then got the job. So that's how it has always really been. You start something, you're called to something, and then I just decide that, okay, I'm going to get better in this. So let me get qualified
For it.
to do it better. And that's how my journey has been until now.
So at every stage, you're able to hone your craft.
Absolutely.
Can be better.
Absolutely.
And you
Absolutely. When I
just,
finished that, even OD, we'll talk about it because there were some, decisions I had to make at some time to go off work. I've gone off work a couple of times and come back in my career. So, that's how it is.
So what experience would you say shaped the woman you have become?
Okay. So really, the one experience I can really, really call out is being filled with the Holy Ghost.
Wow.
You know, I can't think of anything else because I've always been in church. We were born in a Christian home. I've always known God and all that. But I was a very teenage child. And a lot of people don't even believe. Sometimes some people meet me now and they can't relate with the child or the teenager, early teenager that I was. And so basically, when I understood that there was actually something that can happen to you and you can be bolder. And I just experienced that and I found out that I was bolder in taking action. So it changed everything. And it helped me, like if I get a leading to do something, I just move. I don't really think about how. So the ability to take those steps, the ability to trust God and just do things, even if it doesn't make sense. So I can attribute that to the encounter I had with the Holy Spirit, filling me and being able to see from God's point of view and then have the ability. So it's like He gives you the ability to do what He's telling you to do. So it's not you just trying to figure it out by yourself. No, He's telling you, and then there's actually the ability in you that is moving you, if I might choose that, because it's actually like an influence moving you to do things because you know this is what God wants you to do. So that is one experience I would, and then the different people that I have encountered, mentors, pastors that have really spoken into my life, one season or the other. These are just various encounters because at the end of the day, we're not made over one encounter. The fullness of our lives are series of encounters.
Bouquet of encounters.
Yeah, series of encounters. But that one is like a standout one because even to understand God's word, to understand that it's God speaking and all that, I will attribute that to the Holy Spirit.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
So what inspired your passion for helping women in person?
Funny enough, because I'm laughing because I can't consider myself like a woman person. I've always been a tomboy. So I wrote a book, and my book, I explained it everything. So from my growing up days, my mom and I were always fighting because I was a tomboy. I loved hanging out with the guys, riding my bicycle, climbing trees. I was that girl. And my mom loved it. You know how moms can be. Even we as moms, so she would always, and then guess what? I now went and read engineering. So it was just like we were like four girls in how many tens of guys. So we were like special in the midst of guys. And so it was just my place. I loved it because I just thought guys on the street, if you're a woman, you need to be calming down, need to be calming down. So that awareness somehow, I'll say it on campus, I started getting the awareness.
Wow.
That's okay, this is something, but I also wanted to ensure that I don't lose my identity or authenticity in the bid to be more woman-like and all that. And so I really wanted to understand what it was to be a woman. And that was when I started studying and saying, okay, God, why did you make us a woman? God,
one of the favorite questions I like to ask is why. And I encourage people, ask why. When you know the purpose of a thing, and it's easy, to get into it. So I asked a lot of questions about womanhood, started studying it, started reading books, and it was really excited. I started getting excited about the fact that I was a woman and that God actually created us special. It's like we have unique characteristics that are not, it's kind of like men and women have all the characteristics of God together. But He put some in women, some in men. So it was like, oh, this is a complementary thing. It's not like we are less. It's something that God designed, and that was when I really got very excited about it, and then also noticed that a lot of people don't understand society and culture is shaping how people are seen and even how they present as women, even how they carry themselves. They think to shrink back because they feel like they are less. And me knowing the truth, I was like, no, there's nothing stopping me. I'm going to, yes, live out my full life. And then that's teacher in me. I'm also going to help as many people understand what I've understood and get people to come out of whatever shells that are making them, draw back and all that. That's really, it's an amazing thing that we are created and designed by God. And so that was what pulled me into that. I just wanted to help others with the experience I had had, but as I grew in the faith and was able to understand clearly, I knew definitely I was called to women. Even sometimes prophecies and things that will come out, I knew that a huge part of my calling and ministry has to do with women, ensuring that women understand what it means to be a woman, how you can live in the fullness of your womanhood without letting culture shape it, going back to the God who is the designer, to give you that view and that picture so that you can walk in it. Because if your view of yourself is shaped by culture, you will walk it differently from what God is asking you to walk in. So I've gone from learning them, teaching them, then consciously mentoring women, because just before I got married, I had experiences. When I got married, I also decided that some of the experiences I've had, I'll help other people not to go through the same things. And so I started mentoring women very consciously. That was when I met most of the women today that I knew met as teenagers. So I started mentoring them consciously, intentionally. It might not have been structured, but it was an intentional mentorship process. They come to my house. I opened up myself, my life, my home to a lot of women, because the scripture says older women should teach younger women. And I believe that any stage you pass, we have a duty to get others to understand it. And sometimes it's not like my pastor's wife would say, then some things are taught, some things are taught. So there are some things you cannot teach. You don't need the person to be in the space to observe it. And when they observe it, they are able to catch it. And so that's what, advised my decision to say, come over. We're not doing it too structurally or formally, but just come to the house, we sit down, we discuss just like normal, and you see how I relate with my husband, how I relate with my children, and you just by yourself just get the understanding. And so a lot of my mentees then we just copied it because it was just they were exposed to those things. And so so after years of doing that kind of mentorship, I wrote a book, memoir, because I usually teach them from my life. So I just took the life lessons and then I wrote my book and other things I've done.
Wow, that's a lot. So you have from being a tomboy,
To be a woman women's
mother, you got married. So would you say motherhood changed your leadership style or the way your perspective about it?
Absolutely. Yeah, because sometimes you might not be aware of things, but maybe from feedback you can tell. So prior to marriage and motherhood,
I know I was, and I'm always like, I'm this principled person, you like principles and you keep it. And then I used to lead youth. So I used to lead them, everything was nice. I felt I was doing well. But, my mentor, John Maxwell, would say, everybody communicates, you connect. So I don't think I was connecting with people in prior, like connect. So I could teach, I could help, I want to help you. But helping someone is not the way you feel like they can be helped. Sometimes you might need to connect to know where that person is so that you can, help them effectively. And so prior to marriage and motherhood, I wasn't so because I wasn't naturally like a people person or like an outgoing person. I was an introvert completely, like I said earlier. So relational skills weren't too strong then. So I wasn't really relating well. But I would bring what I want to bring. I'll try to relate. But it wasn't as easy as it was after. So before marriage, I had some experiences that just made me start understanding people better, building empathy, and the rest. And then my husband is a people person kind of. So I was able to also catch some of that personality and then motherhood. So when you experience something, and then you have to connect with your children, and so somehow that's how like say milk of human kindness is like sparked up, especially if you're a child of God and somebody that already worked with God. So when those things happen, you know where it's from, and then asking God for things like, give me a large heart, like you get Solomon and the rest. So God prayers, praying that the love of God is manifested and all that. So somehow, with those physical experiences of marriage and motherhood, I was able to know how to even shape prayers so that you can connect with people. And I found out that, somehow I changed. So I could, when I got the feedback from some of my youth and teenagers then, that look, you're changed. You're not wow, so it's more influencing, and that's really what made me think about bringing people to my house rather than teaching them. You can just set up a class and you'll be trying to teach them. It might not be as effective. So I understood the need to connect and then began to work on the skills, so the relational skills, the communication skills, all the things that you really need to connect with people, having empathy, being in people's shoes, just be in that space where you're not just in your bubble, you're not just in your own head, but you can relate with other people, you can, identify with them. It's practical. It didn't take one day or it took a while, and yeah, it's a process. And until, and we're still in the process, we're still fine tuning, we're still getting better. And the goal is just to, be like Christ. So, and then also so that we can actually do what we're asking us to do completely and effectively and he desire. I think the word for me there is effectively. Absolutely, yeah. You see, so many women, get exhausted by trying to do everything at the same time. And reading your profile, it just reveals that, you wear so many hats. Okay. How are you able to manage each aspect of your life? Because you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a mentor, you're this. How would you advise that woman that is trying to do it all but keep getting exhausted? Okay, the one word really is community. Because a lot of people are exhausted because they're trying to do it alone. And they've not had the opportunity to build relationship support system. And I'm always like a proponent of that. When I got married, my husband had to be in another city for like while we were trying to work out this transfer. So I was on my own in the city where I was. And we had the house that we're living in. But I was like, no, I'm not going to stay here pregnant because I got pregnant at the point. And I was like, I can't stay alone in the house. And I had a friend who has her family. She had her children. She had married ahead of me. So I asked her if I could stay with her. Wow. Yeah, and I stayed with the family because I didn't want to stay on my own. I knew
It's the first time you're getting pregnant. I know about the pregnancy hormones and the rest. And I just didn't want to be in the state where I'm not around people to be able to help. So I stayed with her until my husband, was transferred. And then I went because there was he would come to visit me and he would come to the house where I'm staying with my friend. So they had there a guest room, so guest area. So it wasn't like there was two. But the children will come back from work, the children are around, we're playing with the children. It kind of helps your day. And so sometimes the thing that happens is that we compartmentalize our lives too much and then we don't deal with each compartment properly because it's not one size fits all. You can't use a spiritual solution to solve a physical problem or a soul problem. So if you need love and emotional be around people, laugh, play. That's what connects your emotional bank. So you can't expect that you're only praying alone because God actually he has his time with you, yes. But then he also spends time with other people. So that is one aspect. So it helps. So that's fundamental or foundational way of being. So your well-being is okay. Then we can now start talking about, okay, what structures have I put in place? Who can help me? Which support system can I build into my life? So by the time I got married and moved to the place that I wasn't even used to the house we got because at the time he wanted to pay the rent for us. I told him I don't think I will stay here. Let me stay here so that when you have moved you can now pay. So by the time we paid the rent and I started living there, to tell you that for the 1 year, because when he came back was just like a week before I gave birth. So for the 1 year, for a whole 1 year, I didn't know how my backyard looks. Wow. Because then I was working with teenagers. And so they would always come and take rounds, help me watch, help me do this, help me do that. And that's it. And by themselves, I didn't need to ask. To them, they felt this is how we're going to support. And not like I was intentional to say, I'm not going to go to my backyard. There was just no need for it because I had help. And like I told you, my mom was not available when I gave birth. It was a mentee's mom who came and did a mugo for me.
Wow.
So one of my mentees. And it was that community. So it's beyond blood relationships now. So you now have brothers, sisters, everything. When the Bible says, when Jesus says, he that will lead family, father, mother, everything, shall have brothers, sisters, and all that. That's what it means. Because when you follow Christ, he gives you a community, he gives you a bigger family. There's no city in this whole world. I'm not talking about Nigeria alone, some major cities in the world that I can go to, that I will not have someone who can come to my aid.
Wow.
Because I've built a lot of relationships over the years.
That's okay.
And then I have people I can call siblings, our family, but they are not blood. But this is the community. I feel like that is the structure that helps support a lot of women in this case. When your extended family is one, if you can't even do that, of the extended family is one that you really, really need to appreciate. I had my husband's cousin come live with us when I gave birth to my first, and she stayed for us for like 7 years. 7 years, yes. And from my house, she learned almost everything she learned. So then she was struggling to enter into university. I was the one who advised her, can't leave your course. It is this course that you're doing. And that the way you do in the house, I think you can do hospitality. So she got a degree in hospitality from Open University while living in my house. She was so free in my house that I would leave my car and go to work with my friend. And she would carry the car and go and pick the children. She was at home. So she was doing this, she'd make things in the house herself. So that was business for her while she was going to school in Open University and all that. So there are so many ways God can actually help us work out that. So it's not always one way. Find out what you have, and from your own reality, you can now build up a support system. It can happen. And I tell people, why are you saying, why don't you pray about such things? Sometimes we feel like it's not something to pray about. I do. I pray about every relationship. I pray about every support system I need. I ask God to send me people, and then you don't just, he doesn't send people to you and then they are hurting you, you're not hurting their lives. You understand? So it's a two-way thing. So if there's something you give, there's something they give in return, and they are growing, you are being helped. So it's a symbiotic relationship that we need to consciously be aware of. It's available. So we're so drawn to what the world is saying. Oh, people are not to be trusted. People are not. I don't believe that. I've come to in a different economy. I believe in the God that I serve. He's the God of all spirits and all flesh. He knows everybody can. He can't come near wicked people. So, that's the kind of belief that I feel mothers should come into. Have a walk with God. Know God well. Know Him well to know that He cares about every detail of our lives. No matter how mundane it looks, He cares about that detail. And He wants to help you. So, let Him help you. Don't.
In a funny thing, because if I got my brother, I really pray, I say, God, send you to one my peer here. Like, that's very important. You hear about these things and somehow, indirectly it's affecting your mentality and how you do things. But like you said, if you care about it, take in hands of God. So, how I got him, it was just amazing.
Imagine.
So you currently lead a impactful initiative while mentoring women. How would you advise women to pursue their ambitions without getting burnt out?
Okay, ambition. Ambition. That's what my book is basically about. Called Sugar and Spice, The Making of a Woman.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so Sugar and Spice is a concept I just thought about. There's two sides to a woman. There's the side where you have to be soft and you have to be bold and all that. But that softness and sweetness does not cancel the fact that you can be great and you can do great things. And so sometimes some people feel like it's either or. It's one or the other. And I started studying. I started asking God, okay, so if like my mom was always saying, be a woman, be calm. So if I'm calm and all this my ambition, all this my dreams, all what I want to express, how does it play out? How can I accomplish it? And I found out that, this we are. So what the catchphrase I use is discover your sweetness, uncover your greatness. So the sweetness we discover is the key to our greatness. So the sweetness is like the root. The greatness is like the fruit. The sweetness is like your character. The greatness is the competence you build on character. The sweetness is the foundation. The greatness is the building. So a lot of times we think it's either or. You stay in the house, don't think of no. There's a way it can happen. And like as an engineer, I thought about it. I said, okay, how does this structure work? How does these two parts come together? And what I came to understand is that sweetness is built first. So your identity as a woman is the foundation. Our identity as women, the kind of qualities that God put in us, this is our foundation. That's our identity. We can't become something else. So you build on a foundation, you build on your identity. So I found that women struggle when they try to come out of their identity and build like somebody else. So you're a woman, your greatness is going to come out of your womanhood. You're not going to be a man. So if you want to accomplish, what you're accomplishing is something. How you're accomplishing it is another thing. So you think you should do it like a man does it. No. If they say open this door and there's a key, somebody can open it hard like this and you will break. You're a woman. You can even open it hard and it don't break. But it's the key that is opening the door. It's not the force you use to open it.
Sure.
Find the key. Open it as a woman to open it. And it's open. So we want to become something else to achieve what we think that only those people can achieve. No. Deborah won a war in the Bible. She didn't win it like a man. She won it like herself. She was still a woman, but she courageously walked in her identity. to achieve that goal. So the example I use is somebody wants to be a boss or not. So you talk rashly at people. You do. Men can achieve that forcefully and it will be excused. But there's a way we. You can influence a woman without starting. The man can shout and get it done. But me, I'm not proud to get it done. But I can get it done. Yeah. So focus on what has to be done. So what do you want to be? That ambition, what should you accomplish? What do you want to accomplish? Decide it, find it, and do it. But do it like a woman. So that's why somebody wrote a book, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. So do it like a woman, but understand the overall perspective. Understand how to relate with others in their differences to go to the destination. It's a navigation. Destination. The important thing is the destination. It's not the how. And so that's where women get it wrong. So you feel like you have to be something else. And we move out of our identity and then try to be something else to achieve what we want to achieve, or what God has made him or her to achieve, any victory. So if God, like Mary would say, I use this example always, the angel came and told Mary she would do a great thing. It was a great thing. You will behold, you will give birth. It was an ambitious statement. What did she ask? How can these things be? So that how is what you need to ask God. And anytime God is responding to you about how, He will not tell you to do something outside the identity He has given you. Yes, He will just give you the ability, He will give you the tips, He will give you the strategy, but He will do it in the identity that He has placed you in. So that's how to handle ambition. It's build your foundation. Understand who you are as a woman. Build that foundation of character. Build that foundation of sweetness. Just that thing that makes you you. That femininity. Don't throw it away. Build it. Understand
There's a man and there's a woman.
Exactly.
Everybody gives like one,
It will be
disalignment.
So understand your own part. Understand what God has enriched you with. It's just like understanding the tools you have been given. That's the tools we tried. So understand it. And then ask, what is that thing that you do? And how could I do it? Then God did not lead you to do it in your identity. So it doesn't stop you. There are women who have achieved a lot. They've gone through. But the idea is don't get to that point and then at the end of the day, you're looking for yourself. You have lost yourself in your bid to climb up. So if you're there, you're seeing yourself. I've achieved a lot. Like as a hater person, I moved like in the course of a decade, because that wasn't my background, but in the course of a decade, I was able to move from the lead the entry point to a consultant, digital consultant. And that was because I was just taking it step by step and following things. And I didn't lose my family. I didn't lose other things that these are priorities for me. So when you understand your priorities, you know how to arrange yourself. You know, and then understand your seasons, how to leverage the seasons, know what to prioritize per season. So I feel it looks like I wear a lot of hats because for every season I build in something. And then because I built it intentionally, I now have it at my fingertips. And if there's a need to do it later in life, I'm able to do it because I took the time in the season to build that part of my life. I told you how just before I got married, after I got married, I had to leave the job I was doing in communication to take care of the kids. I couldn't keep going to the office. So I used that opportunity to go and do a business course, do this, even when I was doing my professional exams, because this is one thing I like to tell a lot of women. When I was doing my professional exams, I was pregnant with my last born. Yeah, so that was when I said, okay, I'll officially go into human resources. But before then, I had started the business. And I was going to do business coaching, trying to get better in it. So I will go, my sister-in-law, who is in the house, will either go with me to hold baby or something.
Wow.
And then, so we are doing what we are doing while we're in the house, taking care of children. So I use those breaks to build up myself. So sometimes we don't sit down, we don't read, you're not being confused, you're not. And now And none is even so easy.
Yeah.
They are cutting everywhere. Then we had to physically, then I did a cut in LBS. I had to physically go to the LBS. Right? You have to physically go to some places. No, you don't even need digitally, you can get anything. On YouTube, you can get it. You can learn almost anything. So while you're sitting at home and taking care of children, build something, build a skill, build a competence. You don't know how that is going to help you later down the line. So build yourself. Don't just sit down idle. Keep learning. Keep growing. You're just in a TV. You don't have to be all out there. It's you that is the first investment. So invest in yourself as you're investing in your children. So this is what I teach young women today. You understand your feelings. You do the most of it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't stay idle. Don't feel like the world is against you. There's no, I tell some people, there's no time to be depressed. Every time to be depressed. No room to be. There's no time to be depressed. There's a lot to do. And when you see it outward and in fact, that's even what the ambition kind of, or the great thoughts that God gives us, helps us to be. So when you have vision, it's the vision that wakes you up. It's the vision that wakes me. So now this going and it's vision. I could see. Every time you pray, you see yourself somewhere. If you are seeing yourself like this, how would you be that good? It's not by where I am here. It's not by sitting down in the house. Fly to the place. I will not fly to the place. There's something I need to, because there are thoughts that come to our head. You can see somebody, maybe an executive, and you're like, hey, I want to be like her. The first question is how? What did he do to get there? So when you now know what he has done, you find that I've not even started. Let me take the perfect step. So when you take the you're unwrapping a lot at the same time. So you know, you're out there, so most of sorry, because I was gonna ask about, motherhood, right? Being that sibling, being that phase of one's life, they kind of take a pause or take a break from, their ambition, ambition,
Goals.
their goals and aspirations and all that. How can they get back? I have a whole career comeback series on my YouTube. Yes, so I can share the playlist and you can listen to it. You keep on playing it and everything will put people out there. Obviously, take a look. So that playlist, like a career comeback series, I just have to because I've done 2 career breaks. The first career break I had was when I left the communication job to take care of my children because I've given birth to my second. And then having a child. That time I was on my way to work on the island. And we go early. You have to go early to do practice. Of course. While I was driving, there was a guy trying to open my door. And my baby was behind because where I work, yes, where I work, we have like a crèche, so I could keep her. I went and I told her, I say, anything I'm doing my transition is remotely. I'll do work remotely. I will not drive this distance to be coming to work. And then gradually I had to leave the job and focus on my family. And so what I was doing then was taking care of the children and then building myself. So I was learning new skills. I was when I started the business. So anything I have, I think I see as a passion. I start the business and then I go and build. So comebacks really are easy if you are able to stay relevant by building yourself. So you're not just, you add a qualification, you add something. Because if you don't, time is going. So if you're not adding something, you will come back on the level that you left it and you will not like it. So that's the thing. When I had my head technical role, I came in as a people manager. It was my first federal role. I didn't come in as an officer because at that time I had done CIPN. So they can't do me of HR officer because I have done the professional courses. And then the number of years of experience, the combination of that, I had to enter on the role that was higher than. It wasn't entry level with that role. So that's why I say do something. Because that your qualification will now give you the credence. So I did recruitment at a point in my life. So what we look at is you had a career break, but what were you doing? So if you can match the gap with a qualification somebody, so the person was going to school, you can see that person was just sitting down, and you just know that this person is a talent, is a valuable person to bring in. But if you just pick gap, what were you doing? You mustn't be working all the time, but then they can be building skills. So I did this course, I did this. So you can see, if you see a 3-year gap and you see the qualifications they got, this is the year that I got on the makeup. It can now pick there. So comebacks are easier if you are building the competencies required and you're staying relevant to your industry and everything. So that one, I was doing a business. I got a business, I did my CIP. So my comeback was easy. I came back into HR, a new career entirely, but as a HR manager, as a people manager, and then that was because of the CIPM professional exam that I did, and different other things. Because I also had a group of friends that need advice and all that. So someone helped also, because at those points when you're coming back, you would have to rely a lot on relationships. Not even going to go and apply for things and all that, because you're not entry level. And many times, at the higher you go, the more it's based on recommendations, not applications.
Yeah, right. Not applications.
It's not applications. So
right.
you know that if you are not in the circles where they have the professionals that can recommend you because they know you, maybe in some other context. And in fact, I was volunteering so well. I was leading our discipleship directorate, more or less. So I was like discipleship director, like a volunteer. But it was a role. So the volunteer work you do, the competencies you build, help you come back easily. So volunteer, do things. That same requirement in a job is what you put in. So that professionalism you're putting in that volunteer role in church, in an NGO, in something, is the same. So those things count when you're coming back. So you're having an interview, you're telling them, this is what I did. This is how and so what you're communicating is how I grew a team from how I was able to sell, even in a volunteer, I was able to raise certain amount of money.
How were able to do certain
something, or the courses you did, they're speaking your thing. And so it does make sense. So that comeback it happens. It can happen because of what you did. The second career break I had was when I was in Lagos and my husband moved to Abuja. So that's what brought me to Abuja. We had to decide, because we had already decided early in life that we're not going to live apart for too long. So then So it wasn't something we considered. He just went. We were trying to ring it. He was not working, so I had to resign. I had to come. It was a very funny story coming to Abuja, but I came. I had to resign my job in Lagos and come, and I wasn't doing anything here. And so what I did was I joined my professional body and became very active. So I was in the CIPM and media podcast, very active, doing teaching what I know, because I had just completed a career in employer branding, employee engagement, talent recruitment, acquisition, and all that.
Wow.
So I was just bring all the professional knowledge I had. So I was taking knowledge sharing sessions, volunteering to do anything that was available, And I also, earlier we had founded an NGO, so I was very actively, trying to grow the Abuja branch of our workplace women, is the organization we formed earlier with a group of friends in Lagos. So I was trying to do. So I was busy. I wasn't idle. I was doing a lot, and I was known. A lot of people knew me, so I wasn't hiding somewhere. I was so busy. And in my affiliation with the CIPM, I got my first role, consulting role.
Wow.
And before I even got the consulting role, to tell me that it's not good to just sit down and not do anything. So while I was at CIPM, I was just checking. Someone now talked about the professional course in organizational development. And that's all what I've always wanted to do, because that's my entry point into HR. That was the function I entered into. And I was like, okay, I need to do this course. So I did it. After doing it, just as I was about to do, I was about to finish, I saw one opportunity on our platform. I just applied and they didn't even interview me at
Wow.
just get you. And I worked with one of the significant parastatals in Abuja, and I led one they were trying to review their HR department, an organizational development project. I led it and completed that work. So I did that consulting work for a while. And so that's how I was able to do consulting. It wasn't like a full comeback, but I had a job. Again, I also have always wanted to do my MBA. So I said, okay, let me tell. And you know that the next call was always pending. It's not an advert, we can happy, we add the advert. So there's big online university that kept pumping adverts. One day I just said, and then someone I knew now called me, said, hey, we're in this bank, and this bank is helping to do some kind of payment plan and all that. I was like, I could do. So I was like, okay, let me start. So I started. And by starting that MBA, I did it throughout 2003. At the end of 2003, by then I stopped the consulting work. Then towards the end of 2003, not 2023, sorry. Okay. 2023. It's up to 20. Yeah. So 2023, I was that was when I did my MBA. Okay. So that year. So initially I was doing the consulting work, so I was taking it. I thought I could do it for 18 months. But when the consulting ended and they didn't extend, I had more time. So I just compressed it. And that was also part of what made me compress it, was even the fees. You know that 2023, that was when the dollar. Yes, skyrocketed. But thankfully, that's why when God gives you an instruction, just do it. My catching that course that time, one of the favors we got is to fix the exchange rates. So you are paying monthly, but it's on a fixed until we finish. Wow. So no matter what happens to the dollar, you will just be paying what you're paying. Amazing. So in 2023, you can imagine, after fixing it in 2023, you know what happened in 2023, how the dollar, but I was paying the same 180 exchange. Wow. You can imagine. Yeah. So that was how I was able to finish. So what I did was I understood, if you go beyond this year, if you go back to this, so I don't have to compress my courses and so I just closed the yeah, she was hectic. It was hectic. Plus the fact that I wasn't working and I was no income. But the thing is, we need to be resilient. We need to push. We need to take a test step. Sometimes we don't wait until everything is in place. It's always the wrong move. When I did CIPM, I didn't have everything. I couldn't even pay for course that training, like lessons. So I just paid for the exam. And every day I'll carry myself and my stomach, my pregnant stomach, sit down in either a school or a church nearby, sit in the day and read from morning to whatever. Wow. My children go to school, read. So I had to. So we must do the work. Do the work. There's a work involved. But you do the work from a place of rest. So you know that if an instruction is God saying this is what I will give you the grace. So you will take the step now. He will give you the grace. So as you take that step, you find out that you are doing it. You see me, I've finished, I've done this, I've come out. He will send people that will talk to you. So take those instructions, do them. At the end of just even before I got the NDA, I now got a role. And one of the defining packages was an MBA. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's the very most factor. So, I think they both be down as a mother. Easily get the role because of my. So that's why it's important. Comebacks, I would still take over and over. Career comebacks are easy when you build the competencies, do the work required to stay relevant and keep growing within that gap. So you don't lose both ways. And that's the wisdom that a lot of people, we don't sit down and we pity ourselves. We just say, they are my own, they will not allow. No, there is no time to be depressed. You just stand up and move.
Many women just give up, and just get home and do nothing. Before you know it, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, everyone has passed you and that is where the question comes in. Because you experience and it has a ripple effect because your husband will be like, you do. That is what bring us. What are you bringing to the table? Because like you see other on social media and everything. So once women you really need to do more. I know it's not easy, but it is possible.
I even don't like to say it's not easy because choose your heart. Choose your heart. If you just say that one that you are sitting down, it's also not easy to be ID. Right? Right? Yeah, so every choice you make has its consequences and challenges and consequences. That do you know that even if you sit down all day and lie down, sleep all day, you wake up looking feeling tired of sitting down all day. So there's a downside to every decision. So ask yourself which one do you want to choose? People always say choose your heart. And I ask you to choose your heart. You want the heart of you are being laid down on, regrets. Do you want that heart? No, I want to still be relevant.
Wow.
In fact, one of the things I used to do then was I'll just open up and there's this app that talks about events going on. Find 3 events, go and attend, dress up, go, sit down. I'm here, something.
I actually think about that.
That is one of the ways that very relevant in the flow, hearing what I need to hear. Just go and scroll. There are many free events all over the place.
And the app is called Eventbrite, right?
Free advert.
Free advert. And I mentioned that so that women will know. Eventbrite.
Go now. I'm sure there are other apps that you can also go to. Then because they will tailor it to the city you see. Yeah. Find your professional bodies. Be involved. Join the WhatsApp groups. Don't be hearing what people are saying. I sit down on my hater platform and we're just learning things because we're posting, having conversations, we're learning, we're just saying, okay, is this how? They're posting things. You're being relevant.
Because what was obtainable last year. No more relevant now.
Completely.
6 months is too long.
6 months is too long. Right. We're in a dynamic time. Things are changing. You can go downstairs and come back upstairs.
Everything is changing. Especially if you're in the IT space.
No. There are so many things. So many things. They talk about it, see courses like AI now. Courses, different courses online to learn AI. Learn AI. Don't be scrolling and looking at other people's lives.
Has come to stay.
Other people's lives that
AI has come to stay. So let's not wait for me.
No, nobody takes care. So come back now. If anybody is taking a career break, if you're coming back and you don't know AI, that's one of the questions that should ask. So expo, go and learn AI because that's one of the things that makes AI taking not all jobs. So we need to be in a place where your job is not the type that can just be, or your relevance is not the type that can just be taken up by an artificial intelligence. Maybe because now agents, people can sit down, build full agent, so many things. So I keep begging, And when we were like younger, it wasn't as available. And how it is now. So we had the internet, yes, and then it was looking like one very big innovation. But see us now,
That's on your phone.
So there's so many things. In fact, I can tell a story before I got married. I can tell a story of because I was volunteering somewhere and I was even feeling that same feeling like you're here all the day. I want to give you guys like as an example because it might help someone. So then I used to write a lot and I had written an article the day after a broken heart. I had an episode of a heartbreak before I got married. So I had written the article. So that day I was not feeling very sad with myself, like, what are you even doing here? Everybody else. But I read engineering and my friends were high flyers. That was when 2008. That was when the IT boom and a lot of things. So I had geared up into communication. So I was asking myself, what is all this? So one day I was just scrolling online and I saw an an invitation, you can be on this show. Very high profile show then. You can be on this show, submit your story. I didn't even have time to write a paper. I just carried the article I did and dropped, just tweaked it and dropped it. Next thing, somebody came. I want to do pre-interview. You are coming on the show. It's not a small show. I'm not talking about a small show. That's how they came and interviewed me in that our logo, somewhere. So I'm just trying to say the internet kind of like gives a level ground for a lot of people. So they came on and I went to the island, did that did such a high profile interview, you know. And so I talked about my story, did everything. That experience, I also want to say something because I always say when I have opportunity to talk to women, I always say when I have opportunity to talk to women, we look down on ourselves sometimes and you feel like what you have done is not relevant or doesn't make sense. But basically, it's the packaging, it's how people package their experience and themselves that makes the difference. And so I go to that show. We had a conversation. There was a psychologist in the conversation. It was about the broken heart thing. So emotional healing conversations. They were trying to help me because I'm the victim in the story, you know. Did all that and we finished. And on our way going home, the driver and funny enough, the psychologist was sitting beside me. We ended up sitting together and we were going home. And she said to the driver, because it was quite late then, she said to the driver, please, you can't, I'm not going to my office. Take me to my house. It was just a simple talk. I said, I'm not taking, the address that was given to me is your office. That's what I'm taking you to. And the woman started shouting. I didn't expect it because I was like, you guys did me emotional. So I was not thinking, let me hear how the woman respond.
Wow.
And it had a response. Because I already had a response. And I was like, ready to, because then I was building myself in emotional intelligence and everything. So I was looking for opportunity to. I was like, I can't say, yeah. I was not begging the guy. I was not saying, Ma, go. Guys, go. You know, like trying to broker things. Nothing was happening. The guy was insistent. The woman was insistent. Nobody was giving it. And I said, oh God, please now, remember your job. Oh, this thing might not. He was not hearing. The guy was so they laughed. Do you know that he's going to go drop us, go and drop the car and come back to the island? That's what he was telling us. So I understood. So I understood. So I now said, okay, Oga, see what is going to happen. I said, don't drop me here. I'll take something and go home. That time you would have used to carry me all the way down to Odetta, take her to her house. That was even when the woman acknowledged you. You understand? Didn't really, that kind of, empire, didn't really acknowledge it. I was when she did it. It's like she caught herself. When I dropped from that car, I felt like $1 million. I can't express the feeling. I felt, wait, practically in life, you are better off than the people who have packaged themselves. And I decided that day that I would never look down on myself. I would never feel like somebody in well packaged is better. It's what practical thing. What problems can I solve? That's what, whether you are being seen or you are not being seen. What problems can I solve when nobody is seeing you? Those are the things that make you valuable. That's what makes you as a person valuable. So that's what I want to just basically tell women on the card. But that doesn't stop the outcome packaging ourselves or package value. That's what I'm saying. Say, build the value, package it because that's what people outside that see. That's what human beings see, the package. But have substance, build substance. Wow, I have so many questions. I don't know where to start from. So, but your marriage accelerator program, okay, focuses on healthy and purposeful marriages. Okay, what are some mistakes people make before marriage, and what conversations do you think couples should have before entering marriage? Okay, actually, the marriage accelerator program is for singles. who are past married age and somehow are delayed. So so there's just this time when everybody's excited, everything's happening, and then there's a season that passes, it doesn't happen. And so there are people in that season where they're still asking, is it done? And it's just because of that same thing, that competence. There's something you need to build in that does put you in the place where you don't even need to struggle. You enter into it easier because you are in the zone, you have everything it takes. So somehow it answers some of your questions. What are the things you need to do that puts you in that position where it's easier to enter into this season or into this function without, complicating matters further. So it's like awakening again the desire, activating. So we use a framework in the program. ABC framework is what we call it. So activate the desire, build the capacity, and then clarify the expectations. Because that's usually what limits people. Like you'd say, the conversations to have before you get married. There are people who don't have some conversations before they get married. Their expectations are all over the place. So you don't even know how men function. You don't even know a lot of things you don't know. So the identity part, the activating desire has a lot to do with the identity. So what identity have you found yourself? Or have you moved? Like I said, some people move away from their identity because they want to build themselves, because they want to achieve something. That is a wrong move. And a lot of times when you go out of your identity, you can't really attract the people you should be attracted. So we do the activate desire to authenticate your identity, try and get you to get back. So that's what people should be doing before they get married. They should be sitting in their identity. They should be understanding themselves. They should be aware of who they are. It is so key. And a lot of people don't just do that. You don't do those reflections.
So I ask that because once you get married, see all you're able to achieve. I can say that a certain level of percentage was from your
Based
spouse.
on who
Who you married, he was able to support you,
Yes.
able to give you. But there are people that will marry people who then that won't even will want to dim your light and all that. So that's why I asked that question because it's important that couples have these conversations before they get married. Just that you will not go in there, you are very ambitious all that. Your mind all that want you to sit at home.
So, but the thing is, before marriage, you should be able to know who's going to dim your lights before you get married.
Sometimes it's not clear.
That's because people are not doing what they need to do initially, or they are not even in that place because you want to marry this person. You now change yourself to
Defeat the person. Just because you're desperate.
Yeah, there's this thing like
That's the word they're looking for.
it might not be desperation, no. It might just be expectation because there might be young women to do that. So it might not be that, oh, this is something that I should do. So because I should do it, let me quickly do what I need to do to enter. So it's not by an entering thing.
Don't jump.
Yes, there's this viral video that's going on where somebody's trying to fit a plate into a drawer.
Okay.
And then the plate doesn't fit. So you bring out the plate, use a hammer, break it, and then put the pieces of the plate into the drawer. Perfect example of what people do to enter marriage. So you destroy yourself because you want to fit into someone. And when the person starts insisting that you should sit down, you're now wondering why. That's what the person saw. There's no way the person would have seen a person who was aspiring and all that, and even want to marry because who wants that respect. So they are looking for their kind of person. And when if you pose like their kind of person, they will marry you. And then want you to so identity is very key. Another thing is building confidence. Because that confidence is what do you know? What can you do by yourself before you now get married? We have the concept of married TV. I'm a career person. I tell you, why have a TV for a job? You don't have TV for marriage. So we build married TV. That's one of the worksheets. You knock out your married TV. By the time we take you through the steps, we're able to knock that out.
I've never heard of
We give you confidence. There's the confidence it gives you. And even They truly help you know who, in fact, who you attract. You know, the thing has a lot to do with the kind of company you want to attract. There's so many concepts in my head. I'm like, the employer branding is a concept that came because talent started becoming hard to find.
Yes.
So
Some point
employers
it was.
are here. So employers now had to brand themselves to be attractive to talent. You get so the person you attract is not just you doing the work. The person too should also be doing his own work.
Yes.
And when you come, when you meet, when
You
two
will
people
know.
who give it, they will know. See this thing here. Apart from normally you will know as a human being, then so you now have pride. The other thing, the final thing is the expectations are all over the place. So we tell you clarify expectations. Sometimes the expectation is based on myths and booze. And that is not reality. Doesn't
Yeah, you
exist.
told me
That
your
person,
mind.
that man you're looking for is not in the market. That woman you're looking for is not in the market. What's realistic? You understand what's realistic? What makes sense to look for? You know, so if someone does make that, he makes up some expectations all over the place. And then your expectations, they are the ones that are preferences. And they are the ones that are no compromise issues. Sometimes we say no to somebody because of a preference that is not doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And then you need the
Yes.
non-negotiables. Those ones are now the ones now compromise on. So that's what happens, and that's what we seek to clarify for people, because when you finish that kind of program, you are not going to be entering marriage like there are things you just be aware. You know, there are things you bring to the awareness, and that is most like that's just a set of things couples also need to be aware of before they get married.
They have this in a book. Let's see you think, Doctor. I've never heard.
No, it's in the program. We have the program, Marriage Accelerator program. No, it's the program my husband and I. We
Oh.
created the program to help.
Okay, so towards the end of this episode, we're going to talk about so that's what's going on because of time.
Yeah,
I'm in Nigeria. I don't know right. I don't know right. Oh my God! Oh my God!
It's always exciting, you know, to have the opportunity to share with women, to get them
And you have
the
wealth of knowledge, and
Yes,
it's so
that can help
amazing.
them.
So what's that one, let's say, motherhood teaches women that's no book?
That lack is spiritual. That lack is spiritual because everybody says it. You can't go through that experience of giving birth without. I don't know how. If somebody finish giving birth, how do you finish giving birth and feel like this world is just unnatural and there's no creator? It just puts you in a place of awe, and you are able to understand that there are layers even in this life. And like I told you, I was a certain kind of way, and somehow my personality. So it teaches you something. You catch some things that can't even be taught. You catch it. You have an understanding that makes you more empathetic, makes you more soft, makes you more, if you know, like have a sense of privilege to be alive and to even partner with God to produce life. You know, that those things, if I can't put it in words, you know, there's no, everybody just has to experience it to be able to understand it. And even God, even without experiencing it, really, sometimes people get into that knowledge or that encounter, and that's it. The life is spiritual, and that there's a God
That is spiritual.
there's a God who creates, and who is a master designer, master creator, and it's just always best to seek His design. I'm an engineer by heart. I understand the concept of structure, design, and all that. And so it's amazing that there's a higher structural engineer that has put all these things in the leg and have principles that we can learn and live a better life than we ever imagined. So It's just amazing.
He could speak to a mother out there. What was that one word he tell that woman?
I would say trust God. Trust God and lean on Him for everything. Everything. He cares about every detail of our lives. Someone just won American Idol. I just got her name is Hannah Harper, 26-year-old mother of 3.
Mother of 26.
Just won American Idol.
Wow.
And she wrote a song, it's a viral song now, String Cheese. I was listening to it with my husband yesterday, and she was just talking about how she had postpartum depression. And you see children, what are they? But that from that experience, God ministered to her. She could see that what she was doing with these children is as important as anything. So, what they are doing is the most important job of the earth. Don't ever look down on yourself and say, I'm at home. Even if you are not doing all these things that I said, you are doing the one, you are taking care of the children. It's okay. You have done a lot. We're only doing this thing because, yes, we still have that part of us that wants to. So we're saying this is how to do it easy. But be settled in the fact that the work you are doing is valid. The children you're taking care of, they are precious. So hold on to that. Be so proud of yourself. I said, I've tried. And it's in that place of acceptance of yourself, rest, and basking in God's love. You see, it's not what we do that makes God love us. It's who we are. So bask in the love of who you already made. It's not about what are you achieving, what are you not achieving. He is looking down on you. And from that place, everything that you do, let it come out of that security in your identity. Let it now come out so that you're now working because you are resting in your identity. So every other work comes out of it. Don't do work. Don't be competition and trying and no. Rest in your identity and in God, and then let your work come out of that. But you are doing a great job. You are doing the most important work in the earth, and so in that, be settled and be happy. Motherhood is a blessing, it's a privilege. We couldn't joke with.
What an absolutely refreshing and powerful conversation we had today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Like, I learned a lot. I kept nodding, I kept thinking, what did I put on my CV? What Thank you. But one thing I personally take away from this conversation is the reminder that women do not have to be themselves while nurturing others. You can lead, you can build, you can love, you can grow, you can heal, all right, and still remain whole and intentional. So the quick fire with Ruth, and I'm going to be asking a few questions and give us your honest answer. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Really?
Yeah.
Why tea?
Oh Lord, I love all sorts of teas. I like the taste of coffee, but tea is great because they are different. You can have all sorts of tea. Healthy tea, yeah.
Coffee boardroom or girls hangout?
Girls hang out.
Yeah.
Anytime. I feel like coffee boardroom. Yeah.
Soft life or structured life?
Structured though, yeah. Because sometimes when I'm doing soft life, I start feeling, because of my personality, I start feeling like this. So it's best that I structure in the soft life into my life.
Everything.
I have to.
Who apologizes first in conflict? No. No way. Husband, they all the time. It's so person. Wow. Because I think we can. I've noticed that there are not two people in marriage.
True.
There's somebody that has to augment. He can't be two. Both of you can't be two.
Yeah.
Even if you don't work there, still. Mother will be shouting, that's the quiet one, If not, we'll have to be careful. Both of you are too careful. So that's just amazing. One motherhood myth you wish you disappear.
The motherhood is a curse.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes people, like, especially career women, so we work with a lot of career women. So they want it, but secretly, underlying, they feel like it's what has kept them from reaching the levels that they have. If you meet a lot of career women, that's most career women, they feel like that's what kept them from achieving because they took time out to give birth, or they have to take one or the other. And so
He treated it because if they listen to the broadcast and hear what you have to say, they will know that they were the ones holding themselves back in the
it might not be visible, it's not openly spoken, it's an unspoken need. People just feel like that's what kept me from reaching my heights. Because they're only looking at life, maybe that career ladder that you're looking at. But life has many facets. And we don't see life wholesomely. So you just look at that facet and it just limits you. You feel like you've not gotten that level of success because of this. Things are changing though because of the knowledge that is going around. But on the line, there are still things people agree with unconsciously. And so it has to change. Motherhood is not a curse. That's even how I started going on my comeback videos.
Wow.
Yeah, that motherhood is not a curse. I just felt like that I had to say it out. Because sometimes people don't know what they're saying.
Actually hearing that sister, such an unfair statement in it, because like people have voted for 10 years to get and we got the age and you think
I listened to a lady who was saying that, initially somebody was telling her, don't let people call you mama this, mama that. Maybe it's because in this our club, people are not into career. When you go to those career speakings, a lot of people have all these hang-ups and it's not really bad. It's not really good.
God have mercy.
Indeed.
Okay, correct. Carry on. One thing women need to stop feeling guilty about.
Same thing. Stop feeling guilty about the fact that you have to stay at home and take care of children. That's our function. That's what we are born to do. It doesn't stop your greatness. Stop feeling guilty about the fact that you have to take out time. I voluntarily left the works because of my priorities. So don't feel guilty about staying at home. There's a lot you can do at home. There's a lot you can start. There's a book I have, Mommy Nilonia. I have all those.
How many books have you written?
No, not written. I've read.
All right.
No, I just written one book. I'm about to write a second for girls because I want girls to understand some things before they become women. It helps them a lot, give them a head start in life so that they don't have all those hang-ups and feelings. If they know some of the things they think before they get there, you even prepare on time. I have a mentee who did her began her master's, actually got married early. You see, so she had the master, and I was telling her recently, and I came and told like, I feel like my life has stopped. I say your life has not stopped. Use this time and build some other things. Your bounce back is ahead a little bit. Take care of the children. Have fun. They are your team. Do team building. Do eating. Practice all those things.
Life around them.
Build your life around them. It's still a relevant experience. Make it work experience. It's work experience. There's nothing anybody
If you manage the whole, manage your children.
Anybody telling me work experience. In that time, I used to have in my home, I have everything. The food timetable, the work timetable, the organizational skills, the structures, operations management. Call it again. We call the name, and then because that's what it is. Well, it's not a joke. That's what it is. It's operations management, is structure, development, system building, team building, the support system you build around your house. The people who are helping you get to manage your domestic park, it's team building. So what are you so seeing now? We are calling what it is, only that please. Okay, moving on. What's one thing you did just for yourself? Because I know that you carry a lot of people. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you when I was asking question is that you built how many people now? 9,000 or something. Okay, it's a committee of over 9,000 people without losing the human connection. Okay, though, with all this, with helping other, what about one thing you do for yourself? Okay, what I do for myself, if I really see that I'm too overwhelmed, I don't go to the spa. stay in the spa alone, that they have massage, do everything from head to toe. Even though most times, because of the way we are wired, sometimes we just feel like I have to intentionally do it. Because sometimes my husband will just like bundle me ahead. Because we feel like you can't come out. So please be. Because the person who's carrying everybody needs to be taken care of. So that's what I do for myself. And I also eat ice cream. Because that's like a happy place. I love ice cream. So I take my time, eat the ice cream. Sometimes I'll have the ice cream. I keep on eating. I'll say, no, this one is for you. All for me. Or sometimes they don't even have their own. So can you let me just eat this? Only me, and I will not give you anything. Okay, now go to your price. I'll go and get one.
No, it's an amazing section. Thank you so much. Thank you. And just whatever I've learned, and I hope you've learned too. So before you run up, we have a little gift for you from the Motherhood and Me team. Want to say thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I also have a gift for you.
You do?
I brought my book.
Wow, amazing.
Well done for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Encouraging mothers. Mothers need all the encouragement in the world.
And so I'm always here. I will cherish it, honestly, not because anything, but I mean the thoughts behind it.
Yeah.
I was on a show on AIT.
Okay.
So they were talking about love language. And I said that's one of my love languages.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I give the gifts. Thank you.
Yeah.
So guys, give me gifts.
Yeah, bring it down. Bring it down.
We'll come to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Thank you so much for coming along with us. Until we see you next. Bye-bye. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms so that you can be notified when we have new episodes. Before you go, you have your program, right? Tell them about it just quickly so that
Okay, so before I talk about my program, my book, I don't have a lot of physical copies, but it's on Amazon and it's also on Seller. So you can get the ebook on Seller or on Amazon, but you can also get physical copies on Amazon. So you can just type it, Figure and Start Making of a Woman, and but we'll also share links. So for the Marriage Accelerator program, it's a program designed for singles 30 and above with a Christ-centered, community-anchored, covenant-driven marriages. So if you're someone who belongs to a church community, you're 30 and above, you just don't know what's happening. Or maybe you're in that place where you tried and you're telling yourself, whenever it happens, it happens. So the idea is to get you to understand the why of marriage and verify your own why. Because sometimes it's because we don't get the purpose of a thing. And that's why we're not positioning, not pursuing many times. It's not about pursuing marriage. It's about positioning for it, about understanding what it is. So our goal is to help you map your desire to God's design for marriage. Because many times we're doing it in our own way. We're not getting it right. So the course will help you. So we have the program. It's a program on demand. Once you sign up, you get access to the program. And then you can take the video lessons and then have access to a mentorship, 90-day mentorship with my husband and I, with you to guide you through the process. And we have an event at the end of the day, kind of mixer event to get states, have good mingling together. This Saturday we're having a parlor worship to kick off the event. So share the details on the duration.
Yeah,
But there'll be more events as we go back.
Wow, amazing. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Once again, bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again.